Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. Tonight's video is brought to you by Ben's Watch Club. Well, in the sense that I wouldn't own this watch if it wasn't for that channel. It's totally his fault. Every time I see one of his videos, he's either wearing this watch or talking about it or both. And every time I see it, I think to myself, I need to add one of those to my collection at some point. After seeing one of his videos recently where he was actually talking about it, I decided to look around a little bit online and found that most sites have it listed as out of stock, at least the variant that has the Milanese bracelet, and that's the one that I wanted. The standard bracelet just looks retro. I wanted something a little bit more unique. So I decided I probably ought to get one sooner rather than later. And I looked around and found one on the Zoomies website and ordered it. And here it is. So tonight I'm going to do a full review of the Casio A700. Let's flip the camera around and take a look at this amazing watch. Before you even get to the watch, this thing is impressive. Look at this awesome tin that it arrives in. That is so cool. Totally like synthwave style. I love it. When you open it up, you have the booklet, warranty card, and then we have this, and there it is. It's in foam, which is fine. That is such a great looking watch, and look at the Milanese bracelet. And we'll start there with the bracelet. So what's really nice about this bracelet is it's tapered, as you can see there, which is super cool. And the quality isn't too bad at all. We have just a standard Milanese buckle on there, with some branding. And I love how easy it is to really dial in the fit that you want with the Milanese bracelet. There are little notches here that you're supposed to kind of set this thing into, but if you find yourself just in between, you can kind of force it. So I usually just grab like a thumbtack and kind of pry this thing up, and then you can slide it up and down and then pop it back closed. And we see that it's attached to the watch with these brushed ends here, which is interesting because they don't really match the polished finish of the case itself, but you don't really notice. They seem to blend in pretty well. And the case itself is resin with a chrome coating on it. The dimensions are very similar to an F91, although this one is actually thinner. And the edges are nice and sharp. It just looks really clean. Definitely sort of a next level Casio. Another thing that I noticed, if we look at the dial here, is how shallow that screen is under the crystal. It's really close to the crystal, which actually looks really cool. I love the colorway of this with the gray and the chrome. It just looks super cool. And I thought that I had heard that these buttons, the functions are kind of in different locations from the F91, but from what I can tell, they're actually the same. So the module that's in this is the 3472, and it's super easy to operate. So you can change the mode here. That's the alarm. You can turn on the alarm itself or the hour chime, which I love. I just have to remember to turn it off whenever I'm filming videos. Or you can have both, or just turn it off. Now we're back at the time because we were messing around with setting the alarm, or at least its options. If we hit it again, we get the stopwatch and the time setting mode. And then back to normal. We can go to the alarm mode and set it by hitting the light button, and then setting it to what we want. And then we could just go out of there. Come back and there it is. We could turn it off. Right there. And looking at the case back, it's just super utilitarian, brushed. You can barely read the etching on there. But we have Casio A700W and some other information. This is a stainless steel case back. This is not as affordable as the F91. This was a bit over $50, but it is definitely next level. It's super cool looking, and that thinness is amazing. Swapping between 12 and 24 hours is also super easy. Once we're looking at the time, when we're in clock mode, you can just hit this button and it'll toggle between the two. I always like the 24-hour. I think with the tech look of digital watches like this, that just kind of enhances it a bit. As for the specifications on this watch, the case size is 35.5 millimeters. The case height is only 6 millimeters. The lug to lug is 37.4 millimeters. The lug width is 18 millimeters. The battery in this should last about 3 years. As for water resistance, it's basically splash proof. Although if it's like the F91, I did do some waterproof tests on that and it passed. And of course those tests were simply me quickly dunking it in a glass of water and then slowly doing that longer and longer, watching for any evidence that water got in it. And then I took it to the lake and swam in it and it was just fine. But technically this is just splash proof. As far as the crystal goes, I found one site that had it listed as acrylic and another that had it listed as mineral glass. So I choose to reject the acrylic reality and have inserted the reality that it is mineral glass. The light on this watch works so much better than the F91. You can actually read it, whereas the F91 just kind of lights up the corner where the light is and quickly fades away. So let me take the Nomos off and I'll show you what this looks like when you're wearing it. Here is the A700 on my 7-inch wrist. That bracelet is so cool. It totally gives it a different look from the standard bracelet that these ship on. And it's actually a really long bracelet. The end is all the way around here. So if you have huge wrists, yes, this watch would look itty bitty on you, but you could fit this bracelet around it. This thing is brilliant. I'm so glad I picked one up. And it actually gets a decent amount of wrist time. And check out the light in total darkness. Totally legible. So there you have it, the Casio A700. What an amazing retro watch, and yet not. With that Milanese bracelet on it, it adds a twist to it, so it's kind of modern and kind of not at the same time. Thanks for watching.